Yeah, and here's our intro. Adam, Michelle, anything you all want to say about yourselves? You want to do a quick introduction?
I mean, it kind of says it right there. I'm dating myself here by that little bio. I've been in some form of sales or account management, account executive work for over 20 years, and about half of that in the e-commerce world. I've worked over at Amazon for a little bit, Walmart right previous to TEMU, and I'm really, really happy to be here and be able to share this, share TEMU's information here with you.
Hi everyone, nice meeting you all. And I actually saw one attendee from Seattle. To be exact, I'm in Sammamish, so I don't know how close we are. But yeah, I recently joined TEMU as a business development manager, working with US brands and suppliers. And previously, I was working for Unilever and a couple CPGs company. And my first role was at Amazon. I was which is 10 years ago. I work with sellers like yourself and expand your business in Amazon EU marketplace. So very happy to be here. Adam and I would love to chat more about TEMU. And Brennan, thank you so much for having us here.
Yeah, it's our pleasure, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. And I know, for all of our existing customers or prospective customers that are on the webinar checking this out, Michelle and Adam have a tremendous amount of e-commerce history and experience. So you're not dealing with green, junior people to the e-commerce world. You're dealing with experienced folks who can really help you get set up on a new and exciting channel that is doing, refurbished stuff as a new category or a relatively new category. So excited to have them talk more about that opportunity. From the wholesale side of things, which many of you that I see in the chat, your existing wholesale customers or wholesale adjacent partners we have in the industry, you are probably familiar with our existing e-commerce integrations. TEMU is going to make maybe our 10th or 11th e-commerce integration, and we build these ourselves. They're not through some third-party channel or third-party code-based connection paradigm. We build them. So, if there are ever problems with them or if there are issues, we support them. And you all have probably plenty of experience working with me and Mike on support at Wholesale for these integrations. But we're very excited. We heard some really exciting things that I think Adam is going to share about TEMU, and so we wanted to build this integration quickly. And my co-founder Harry has been getting it out in just a matter of weeks. So it's going to be a very similar integration to what you're used to from our other e-commerce connections, where Wholesale will sync. You can kind of bring your listings from TEMU into Wholesale. You can connect those to your SKUs in Wholesale, and then Wholesale will start consistently syncing the quantities of inventory that you have of different SKUs over to TEMU. And so if you sell on some other channel or you sell B2B, we'll lower your quantities on TEMU. If you add a bunch of new inventory that it has an existing SKU and listing on TEMU, that listing is going to be auto-populated with the updated inventory quantities. And then any orders that are coming from TEMU, they're going to automatically import into Wholesale, and so that you can fulfill them with specific IMEIs from your serial numbers from your inventory, or if you're doing other products, IMEIs or serial numbers of other electronics. And then when you create a shipping label, whether that's on ShipStation or just directly, and you put it into Wholesale, we're going to send that directly to TEMU so that your customer can get it on the TEMU side. So it's a standard integration from Wholesale, but we've whipped it up pretty fast, and I think you're going to be able to see this from us in probably we'll have folks start testing it next week. So we're really excited about that. And so I haven't said this yet, but there is a link in this webinar. It's a featured link on you all probably are seeing it on the bottom left of the webinar. If you haven't registered yet to become a TEMU merchant, you should use that button, because that's a referral link from Wholesale. So maybe Michelle, hopefully I'm saying this correctly, but my understanding is that when you all see a registration from that link, you know that the person is using Wholesale. You can reach out to them directly and build a relationship from there, versus just kind of the standard sign-up pipeline. This is hopefully a little preferential. And I think you had said you need people to put in specific information. Is that right?
Yeah, so the way how it works, once you register with the link that we provide, it comes to seller management team. Because if you just register on your own, it would go to like a self-service. So Adam and I on this sales team that we can help you throughout the process. And so I do see there's a lot of people already registered, but if you already registered, make sure you put an email. Because if you're only putting your phone number, we can't see that phone number, we can see your information, and we can get a hold of you. So it will be helpful if you have an email. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, definitely put an email when you use that link to go register. And yeah, hopefully, we can get you some, since you did this through wholesale, we can get you a better relationship than a self-serve model. That's our hope as well. And, this will be a pretty straightforward demo for all of you that are familiar with wholesale integrations. But I'm just going to pop over here to a wholesale page. This is a TEMU settings page in wholesale. Looks very standard compared to our other integrations. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you all can see. And so what this is you'll connect your TEMU account here. I've already got a test account connected, and then you have some behavior settings about, do you want the orders to import? How do you want them to import? What are the details there? So you'll go through and set all of this up next week when we start reaching out to have this begin testing with TEMU sellers. And then we have some settings for how the inventory integration behaves, how we sync quantities. Obviously, you can choose in wholesale which inventory statuses and which warehouses are considered when we're syncing quantities over to TEMU. But this should look very similar for all of you using our other integrations with other marketplaces. And you'll bring in your listings via this listings button. Those listings will automatically import. You can bring them in into wholesale and then start connecting them. These are a bunch of test listings from the TEMU channel, but your listings will come in and you can start connecting them to wholesale's SKUs. And so I can even give you an example of that here. So if we've got, let me go to my wholesale product catalog and let me see I know one of these iPad Airs, for example, should have some quantity. Let's go find one that does. Maybe not that one. Here's one. Perfect. So here's one with some quantity. We're going to use this SKU and we're going to go back to TEMU. We're going to open up a test listing. And this listing came into wholesale with no SKU. So it didn't connect automatically, but we have the ability to put in a SKU or multiple SKUs, which we know is really valuable for resellers of electronics. You might want to connect multiple different grades, or if it's a listing for a locked product, you could sell unlocked and locked to a specific network. So we're going to connect this. And then it's probably because of our settings scoping the inventory, but this will always give us a quantity count of what is going to be synced to TEMU for this specific listing and the SKUs that are connected. And so I want to keep this demo very brief because most of you are doing this every day. You're familiar with this process, but just to say that our TEMU integration is going to work just like our other ones. If you are using our others, you're going to be very familiar with that flow. And that's it. So we'll get in touch with us now that you've registered as a seller on TEMU, and tell us you want to be in the pipeline. Just reach out on live chat or send me a message, and we will get you set up for beta testing next week and be off to the races. And at that, I'm going to hand it over to Adam, who's going to give some details about why do you want to sell on TEMU? Why is that beneficial? So Adam, you can load up the deck and fire away. Ooh, bummer. I wonder if Adam's internet is struggling. Hey, Adam, do we still have you on? Well, Adam will rejoin. We can, in the meantime, we can read some of these questions aloud if you are okay with that, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, I think Adam's back here.
Cool. Do we have you back, Adam?
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
All right. Apologies. I seem to be having some technical difficulties with my bandwidth here. So rather than me be very choppy or I'm losing connection with the webinar, I'm just going to turn off my camera. Apologies for that. It seems to work a lot better that way. So I'm about to. Brennan, were you finished with your portion?
Yeah, I'm totally finished, Adam. You can fire away. You can load up the presentation. Hopefully that'll take over for me, and sweet, that works.
All right. First of all, I wanted to say a huge thank you and shout out to Brendan again and the wholesale team for having myself and Michelle here to talk to you guys today about TEMU. We really, really appreciate your partnership. And then also a large thank you just to everybody who's joining us right now and taking time out of your schedules. Obviously, it's a Friday morning or afternoon, depending on where you're sitting. So we know everybody's looking forward to the weekend. But I'll try to go through these, give you some great information regarding TEMU. And then, if you have any questions, that we can answer for you, please do put those in the chat. And as Brennan said earlier, if we cannot answer them or get to them in the allotted time, there is going to be an opportunity with our contact information that you can contact Michelle and I for a one-on-one conversation. So as far as the agenda goes on here, I'm just going to give a brief introduction to TEMU and when the company started, how we've been growing at a really, really rapid pace. Talk to you a little bit about the strategy for our local partnership and business, which is what I'm going to be showing you a majority of these slides, and as well as the vision, some about the product lifestyle, how the pricing works, and I've actually also put together some FAQs at the end to talk to you about as well. So first and foremost, I want to give you here a little bit of a timeline on TEMU. And also, you might be noticing a little QR code there in the bottom right-hand corner. I'll get to why that's very important coming up here in a little bit, but you're going to see that QR code throughout some of the slides in this presentation. So as far as TEMU from a timeline perspective, TEMU actually first started within the US, based out of Boston, Massachusetts in September of 2022. So we've been around for a little bit over 2.5 years now. By only a couple of months after that, we were already tops in many of the international marketplaces in the app stores. So chances are, if you were going to your Apple App Store, your Google App Store, Samsung, etc., and looking at the top shopping apps, you were already seeing TEMU in there. Just a few months later after that is when a lot of people really became familiar with us. So in February of 2023, some of you may remember TEMU actually having several commercials during the Super Bowl that year. And as you can expect, after 125 million people see your name and your ad, they'll get curious. So they'll start looking you up and and checking you out on the App Store, on our desktop application, and being like, hey, what is TEMU? What is going on here? What's this cool commercial I'm seeing with the catchy tune? So after that, the number of our users absolutely skyrocketed, hockey sticked in a very, very sharp, up and right hand turn, and it helped build the base of customers which we have today, which, as you can see, by May of that year was already over 100 million active users in the United States alone. So you can imagine, obviously people here know what some of the other large marketplaces have as far as an active user base. TEMU is not far behind that, if not outpacing some of those marketplaces as well. Fast forward about a year from then, we debuted our local to local model, which is what I'm really going to be talking to you guys about today. And local to local model, in layman's terms, it means US sellers providing their products to US buyers. So, TEMU did start out with mainly a cross-border functionality, of which people were buying products that were coming from other places outside the US. This local to local model now is making sure that we have a ton of sellers based within the United States who are already selling on very, very well-known other marketplaces out there, and people actually know these sellers and are now on TEMU. Right after that, in April of 2024, we were already in over 70 marketplaces around the world. So again, as you can imagine, some really, really rapid growth. And so what have we got going on for 2025 already? Well, go stronger, get into more countries, which I'm going to talk about in the very next slide, and also how we can better serve not just our buyers, but you guys, the sellers, because for Michelle and I and the other BD reps and account managers within TEMU, you guys you're our customer. So you guys, the seller, are our customer, and that we want to be able to give you the best possible service and experience you can have. Okay, so just like I was saying, as of right now, TEMU is in over 90 marketplaces worldwide, the Americas, North and South, most of Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia, Oceania, and we like to, our tagline for the company is "Shop like a billionaire" because of all the great deals that we can get to you out there, you, the buyers, with the help of you, the seller. All right, so I'm going to go into a little bit about our strategy for this program. So As you can see right here, Temu offers, a wide range of quality and affordable brands and products. Not only white label, which a lot of people are pretty much think Temu is known for, but a lot of really well-known name brands as well. For wholesale, which Brendan, I know you talk a lot about the refurb products that are out there. Well, Apple is one of our largest refurb products that we sell on Temu right now. In addition to that, we're going to be, selling, we're going to be going after sellers who are doing refurb, things like vacuum cleaners or, household appliances or any kind of item that we know is a great seller, to our seller base. So we're combining that white label and to go hand in hand with the big name brands that people know and love and put them at a very, very affordable price. So the quality is there and the price is there. Want to be extremely as consumer oriented as possible. The customer service, again, not just buyer customer service, but seller customer service as well. So while we do have a robust system for our buyers to contact us at, if they need some kind of issue or if they need help with some kind of issue, we have that same kind of service for our sellers as well. If you or they need help with anything post sale or payments related, we're going to be there every step of the way to help you with that. We want to actually also provide a very reliable and trustworthy logistics supply chain that, again, the sellers, you guys are going to help be the lifeblood of. And again, that's something I'm going to go into a little bit more in depth on some of the later slides. Okay, one of the things that keeps bringing people back to Temu, again, is our pricing. But again, not just on white labels, but on those name brands I just talked about. But we do a ton of discounts and promotional activity on Temu. You can see from there, when you join Temu as a buyer, we have new user discounts. We also have seasonal sales. As you can see on the image to the left, there was a St. Patrick's Day sale that we had. Right now, we just excuse me, we just had a Memorial Day sale last weekend, and we're now in the midst of our big summer sale. So we do a lot of seasonal discounting and promotion to help our buyers, get their products to our buyers at a great price. And then, of course, we have our themed promotions: Black Friday, Cyber Monday, back to school, back to college, which is in July and August. Mother's Day, we just had, and of course, Father's Day coming up in a couple of weeks. Valentine's Day, the peak season, even after Black Friday and Cyber Monday, for the rest of December, for Christmas, for Hanukkah, for Kwanzaa, for whatever holiday you might be, celebrating, we're going to have something out there for. We also do a lot of limited time offerings. Those of you who sell over on Amazon are probably extremely familiar with lightning deals. So we have something that is very, very similar to that. In fact, it's pretty much the same name. We call it lightning deals as well. But one massive difference between us and the competition is that they will charge you a fee to sell on those lightning deals, where we do not. We simply ask that you give the buyers a great discount, something that's going to be very attractive to them, so that you can sell more of them, but we do not charge you anything to take part in those special limited time offers. Okay, so a little bit more about this local to local model, or the US to US model, which can also, be done in Canada, the UK, Australia. But the supply, again, we are looking to bring high quality products from sellers within the United States to our buyers within the United States. So that supply chain, coming through you guys with an increased selection, which can also include heavy and bulky items that would not be suitable for cross-border business. In fact, when I joined Temu a couple of months ago, and one of the first things I saw when I joined Temu was actually a legitimate construction digger, which you would not think would be something that you would sell on an online marketplace, but it was available to somebody if they needed to buy it, in case they wanted to put a really big hole in the ground for whatever reason. So anything that's, big screen TVs, mobile electronic generators, things of that nature, which might not be easily accessible through other online marketplaces because of their height and weight or DIMMs, we can do with Temu. As far as logistics go, So as of right now, Temu is a 100% fulfilled by merchant marketplace. All right, so but let me again explain that a little bit more. So we give our sellers a choice. It's not just simply you have to sell the products or send the products from your own warehouse. But I mean, if that's something you want to do, you're absolutely more than welcome to do so. But we do give the choice to our, to our sellers, as from a logistical situation, is if you have your product sitting in a 3PL warehouse. So any 3PL out there that you might be, taking part in, we allow them to send the product as well. If you are taking part in a multi-channel fulfillment program, which I know some of the other larger marketplaces have out there, we allow that to be used as your form of fulfillment too. Not only on top of that, we give our sellers up to 7 business days to get their product to the buyer from the time the order is confirmed. So even if you're using a multi-channel fulfillment or 3PL, that might take, not that 1 or 2 days, but sometimes it takes them 3 or 5 calendar days. That's perfectly fine, because 7 business days rather usually comes out to about a week and a half. So you've got plenty of time to get your products to your buyer when they make the order. The fulfillment, we feel, is a very, very efficient method. It's also going to cut down on the pricing. You don't have to get it there overnight. You don't have to get it there in 2 days, unless you really, really want to, and pay those prices. But you can get it there, efficiently and quickly. And as I kind of touched on a little bit earlier, the category restrictions with some of the other fulfilled by other marketplaces. There are restrictions as far as the size of the products you can get in, if they have quote unquote pesticides or antibacterial things in there. Different consumable items such as foods and whatnot. You would not be allowed to sell those with them. With us, you can absolutely do that. You can sell pretty much anything that you want. You can see over there on the right hand side, we've got things from cell phones all the way up to those 4-post gazebos that you're seeing over there. It's getting hot out there right now. I know it's already 90 degrees in Florida, so it's going to be coming for a lot of you guys here soon in the coming months with summer. Those big umbrellas. One thing you'll also notice is on 5 of those 6 listings, you'll see a little green badge that says local. So any of our sellers that are having their products come from within the United States will receive that green local badge. So our buyers know that the product is coming locally or from within the US. So that's another way of kind of marketing your product we have as well. Right, a little bit more about the local to local model from a promotional standpoint as far as your listings go. So again, over on the left-hand side, you'll see not only do we have that local badging, but we have a slew of other badges on there as well that can make your listings very, very attractive to the buyers. Okay, so you'll see over there on this MacBook listing that we have there, not only does it have the local badging, no import charges, obviously, because it's from within the United States, but this particular seller happens to get their products to people extremely quickly. So you can see they have a fastest delivery badge. Because it's a refurbed product, you can also see that the condition of the item is also on there. It says used good. Or renewed acceptable. If you qualify to be what we call a star seller, which those qualifications vary from category to category, but in this particular instance, this particular seller sold enough that they could be a star seller, we will put that on your product pages as well to show our buyers that you are trusted, you've done a lot of business with us, and they can make that they can make that purchase with peace of mind. Again, on the one right below that, that summer sale I was talking about, that that banner is ripped directly from that. So you can see we have a local warehouse badging that people can click on if they only want to see local items. And then, of course, as I mentioned before, the seasonal aspect of it. So we have these special icons over there. We do have a recommended and weighted traffic, basically an algorithm that runs in our background to make sure that the best selling products, or the cream of the crop, are brought to the top of organic search results. So we take into account things like how fast you get the product to the buyer. If you're a star seller, are those items selling well? The reviews on those products, everything kind of gets put into an algorithm that will make sure that the best selling products will get put to the top of organic search results. However, for cold starts, if you're just joining us and you're putting your products on, the first 7 days that you are on TEMU, your items will also get a automatic boost to the first page of the of the category product that people are searching for. And then marketing support. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about that QR code in the bottom right hand corner. So that's very important because I know that Brendan has the sign up for TEMU link in the bottom left hand corner that you should be seeing. But you can also do it through this QR code. If you want to use your phone, you can scan that QR code, and this is why it's important. If somebody just goes to TEMU and signs up on their own without using this QR code or a special link sent by a BD or a business development rep, they will only receive seller support from our regular email support people. However, if you sign up using these links or these QR codes, you will be automatically assigned a business development representative, an actual human being like myself or Michelle, who is going to be with you every step of the way. And in addition to us, you're going to have access to an account management rep. You're going to have, if we need to bring in our higher ups or our supervisors on an issue, we can do that. You'll have access to category managers. You'll have access to IP and brand infringement people, which is something I know a lot of people here care about, and I'll get into that in a little bit later on. But point being, you want to sign up to TEMU using this QR code or using the link Brennan put in, because it just opens up a whole slew of advantages than if you were just go to TEMU and sign up on your own. Okay, the vision for our partnership is very simple, actually. We want to take your business to the next level, or a word that we like to throw around right here is we want to supercharge your business. We want to expand on your, what I'm sure is an already really impressive e-commerce footprint. You might be selling, in some of the other, 500-pound gorillas in the online marketplaces. But TEMU is definitely one of the biggest and brightest up and comers out there, and we want you guys to join that journey with us. So we want to connect you with a large and growing user base to increase your sales. Okay, so I already talked about this a little bit, but I'll just sort of reiterate it. Top level priority for our brand partners. Again, you're going to have those exclusive contacts, which I mentioned before, in a BD rep, in an account management rep, in a category rep, for an IP and safety point of view. But again, if we're going to help you with traffic generation, with the promotional events, with the sales assistance, you'll have the exclusive contacts I just mentioned. But here's also the big kicker. Everybody out there is used to paying some sort of fee, whether that be a membership fee or a referral fee when they're selling on these other marketplaces. So I know that, I'm just going to say it, Amazon, because everybody knows this, charges that $39.99 a month fee just to have the privilege of selling with everybody, or selling on their website. Well, we don't charge that $40. I know it's, $40 may not seem a lot, but hey, $40 is $40. So you're not going to be charged that. And then of course the zero referral fees. So I'll get into our pricing model in a bit, but point being is that we do not charge any kind of commission or referral fee for your sales.
I'll just add, Adam, this is for anybody that's selling used electronics. This is a major deal. That $40 could be most of the margin on the sale of a used electronic. Margins are tight. The industry is saturated, and so I think that's a huge deal for all of our sellers on the call. This is a major commitment from TEMU that is what is very different from other marketplaces right now, is that they're offering the ability to sell without final value fees, merchant fees, referral fees, etc. And so that could be a big deal in terms of stronger margin when you're selling on TEMU as a channel. Sorry to interrupt, Adam.
No, you're good. I appreciate that because having dealt in the past with a lot of refurbished like CE sellers, in the past, I know that the margins are razor thin. Like some people are only making a couple of bucks on a refurbed iPhone or something or a watch. And so $40, that might be 10 sales right there, your margin on 10 different sales. So really appreciate that, Bren. Thank you very much. Okay, so basically the product life cycle and signing up and how does this all work? So I already talked a little bit about the registration, using that QR code, using that link that Brennan had. So you go in there and you'll have to provide us with your pertinent information. So that is in the case of the local to local model. I'll be very honest, TEMU we want to make sure that this program stays for the purpose it was created for. And what does that mean? That means we're going to be a little bit strict about, who we're letting in here. We want to make sure that your business has a US address. We want to make sure that the main person of contact, or the main person of contact at the company or a designated employee at the company who's going to be the main contact, is based in the US as well. So we'll ask you to provide, some kind of documentation, whether that's a utility bill, an IRS statement, a banking statement, something like that, that's got your company's address on it. We're going to require that. We're going to ask for, a passport, and if not a passport, a driver's license, so that we can confirm, everything that's going on. But the whole point is we want to keep this as bad actor free as we possibly can. And, that's the way, as of right now, we're going to be doing this. So a phone, a US based phone number, proof of address, and contact corporate information from the United States as well. Once you go through all those steps, then you're going to start, listing your product, which, we'll be able to help you with. We have a lot of different applications in our, on TEMU that can help you with listing a bunch of APIs, ERPs, Shopify, that are at your disposal as far as listing your product. And we're getting more all the time. Like I myself am running into a couple of sellers that I've been onboarding that have said, "Hey Adam, do you have company X?" And if we don't have it yet, then our team will start reaching out to that company to see what the possibilities are for partnering with them. Because again, we want to make this as easy as possible on you. If by chance there is not an API or an ERP that you can work with at this particular time, we do have a flat file available that you can use to upload in bulk as well. So you'll have that. As far as the pricing goes and how we how our model with this is, so we ask for a pricing assessment. What does that mean? When you list the product, we give what we call we ask you for what we call excuse me, a base price. And what that base price is essentially your all-in pricing. So your COGS, your cost of your goods, the margin that you would like to make on that product, and then the average. We ask for you do the average of what you believe your shipping on that product will be, and add that all up into what we call a base price. So for some simple math, say you're selling a refurb iPhone, and you're into that phone for, I'm just going to use round numbers here. You're into that phone for $100. Okay. And then you want to make, $20 on every unit of that SKU that you sell. And then your average cost to ship that unit, whether it's from yourself or, one of the other methods I mentioned earlier, let's call that, another $5. So your $100 COGS, your $20 profit, your $5 shipping. So you put in a base price of $125. Okay. That is the amount of money that you will receive from the sale of every unit of that SKU that you sell. Okay. So how does TEMU make our money? What we do is we then take that base price. We look around to the other places on the internet where the item is selling, and we try to make sure that we are best of web pricing. So if it's selling on another marketplace, for let's say $149.99, we might price it at $139.99. So you'll get your $125 when the item sells, and then we'll make 15 bucks on our side. That's how Temu makes its money. All right. So that's, if you have any questions about that, please feel free to ask us. It's a pretty simple methodology. As far as payment goes, it's a little bit different than what you might be used to. It's usually some places will pay you like every week, every 2 weeks, etc. The way that we handle payment is when you sell a product, 7 days after that product has been delivered to the buyer, if it has not been returned, the proceeds from that sale will go into your Temu account. All right. And then once that money is in your Temu account, you can then pull the money out at any point you want. So you don't have to wait for, okay, I'm going to get paid on the 1st or the 15th or 2 weeks after that. As long as there's money in that account, you can pull that money at any point you wish. So you just have to wait 7 days post delivery of your product to the buyer. Okay. Again, if you have any more questions, concerns about this, mine and Michelle's contact information will be available at the end of this. That we'll put on the slideshow for you, and we more than welcome you to contact us about that. All right, just a couple more things we'd like to show you about the product pages. When you're selling your items, I've already shown you a lot of the different labels that we do, but a couple more. So this item over here on the left, this set of bed sheets, not only, I know it's a little blurry, but in the green, you can see, I believe it said number 29 top seller in bedding. So if your item is is a top seller in a category, we will make sure that that is also put onto your product page. So if you're the number 10 seller in iPhones, we're going to make sure that's on there. If you're the number 3 new seller in cellular phones, we're going to put that badging on there for you. So we want to make sure people really know that your items are selling well. Also, we're pretty transparent with our buyers. We actually put on there how many of that product has sold. So you can see from this product right here, 21,000 plus of these bed sheets of all the different variations and such in the colorways have sold. So again, we want to make sure people know that you're a top seller, that particular item is a top seller, and then how many of those items have sold, so people can feel very, very confident. And then, of course, like all other major marketplaces, we have a review area based on a star system, and people can leave a text review, they can leave a video review or a photo review as well. As far as reviews go, you can actually import reviews from your products if they are coming from your own website as well. If you happen to have your own website that you're selling at, you have reviews, you can import those. All right, and lastly, I want to just go over some of the most frequently asked questions that Michelle and I get. So first and foremost, how does Temu protect my brand and IP? So this is a question that we get all the time. Temu takes brand and IP protection extremely seriously, and that we have a dedicated team that will help you out with this. When you join Temu, if you've got your own brand, you can register anything that's USPTO with us. If you've got a logo, if you've got a name you don't want other people using, you can register that with us. If you have IP that you want to protect, you can register that with us as well. And then, unfortunately, I actually have a whole document. I couldn't put it into this particular presentation because it's a little long, but if you want to get a hold of that documentation, you can contact Michelle or myself about this program. We can tell you about that as well. Second, does Temu have warehouses I can ship my product into? As I mentioned previously, we do not at this point. It is a 100% fulfilled by merchant, fulfilled by merchant methodology right now, but with giving you those options I mentioned earlier, using 3PLs and multi-channel or shipping from your own warehouse. However, does Temu provide shipping labels? Well, the answer to that is yes, we absolutely do. So when you get an order from somebody in your version of Seller Center that Temu has, you will see an option that you can purchase last mile labels from us. So you have the option, if you have really great rates with freight carriers out there, go ahead, use your own. Our feelings will not get hurt. But if you want to use our shipping labels, which TEMU has really, really competitive rates just based on the amount of products that we ship on a daily basis, you can use those as well. What is the shipping rate? There is actually a tool within Seller Center that will give you what the average shipping rate for a product would be based upon its DIMS, weights, and how far it's going, and for the place from the origin of warehouse of where it's being delivered to. What are the longer term benefits of joining TEMU now? Well, I might be a little biased here, but in my opinion, you'd be coming in at an amazing time with TEMU. TEMU, while I said is still kind of one of the new kids on the block, you'll be coming in at the ground level here to get your products in front of people and start gaining those reviews, the ratings, and take part in all the promotional events before all the competition starts getting in here to us. That's very, very important. So what you see TEMU is now, we expect that to be different a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, in terms of the amount of sellers that will be on there, the amount of competition that will be on there. And so if you come now, you're already going to have your foot in the door. You're going to get those hopefully tons of 5-star ratings, and your items will be organically put to the top of the search results with that. And then lastly, as I know that the refurb product is obviously something really, really near and dear. A lot of people ask, are there requirements to be part of the refurb program? There is, but again, it depends. It varies from category to category. So when you have that meeting with Michelle or myself or one of the other BD reps at TEMU, we'll make sure that you know exactly what the requirements are for the refurbished program with TEMU, and we'll work on getting you put through those steps as well. Okay, so again, I'm going to leave this up here for a moment. So if anybody wants to take a screenshot, write it down, put it into your notepad, whatever you want to do to get my email address, Michelle's email address. It's very simple, just first name dot last name at temu.com. We really, really welcome you to get a hold of us, have that one-on-one conversation, and see how TEMU is going to be a fit for you. We really think that you're going to have a good time selling on TEMU, and like I said, expanding your e-com footprint with us. And again, we really, really appreciate the time that you took today to come be with us to hear out Brennan about wholesale, and listen to a little bit about TEMU. Thank you very, very much for your time. We truly, truly appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Adam. That's great. For anyone that's used to our webinars, we sometimes do a Q&A, but we've decided, because Michelle and Adam are offering this one-on-one meeting, we want you all to schedule meetings with them, ask your questions in your kind of your seller registration meeting with them. Use our link to book and not be in the self-serve portal, but to get their help, and then do one of these one-on-one meetings with them and start working with them. And we need folks to help us test this integration. We're really excited to launch it. I just chatted with Harry to relay Matt's question about listing opportunities. So we're going to bring listing opportunities with our V1 of this integration as we launch it. And Michelle, Adam, just so you know, listing opportunities in wholesale, it's a tool because a lot of these sellers, they're constantly adding new products to their, I think, as opposed to sellers who are selling other kinds of things, maybe they're adding products every once in a while. But refurb sellers, we see, if there's a good opportunity for them to buy a different model of phone or a different model of Apple Watch or something like that, they're constantly adding new variations to their catalog. And that means they constantly have to create listings on all of their marketplaces. And so we have a tool called Listing Opportunities, which shows them which SKUs they have stock for in wholesale that are not listed on whatever channel they're looking at. And so we're going to have a tool in our TEMU integration that shows each seller what products they need to go create listings for on TEMU. So kind of like you were saying, Adam, in your description about creating listings and setting pricing and stuff like that, we will hopefully have a very good tool that makes it faster for them to figure out which listings they need to create every day. So, and that's gonna come with the launch of this integration. So Michelle, Adam, thank you so much for being here. For any questions, please everyone book a meeting with them. They are at your disposal, as am I, about the wholesale side of this integration. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Brennan. Thank you for having us. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, indeed. All right, take care, everyone. Talk soon.
Take care. Have a great day. Bye.